disagree with how President Obama is handling one small thing. Maybe what the whole election's about, the economy.
President, I think, should talk more about the Medicare savings he has proposed and the defense cuts he has proposed, and the fact that he proposes, and this, I disagree with this, by the way, he proposes to take discretionary non-defense spending to its lowest percentage of GDP since President Eisenhower was in office.
So, how can he disagree on these central issues and still support President Obama? Back now to discuss this, our political panel, Alexis McGill Johnson, Daniel Gross, and Ed Conard. So I'm going to let you take a stab at this. President Clinton disagrees with President Obama on the major tenets of the economy and what this election is all going to be about. How do we bring those two guys together and say they see things the same?
Well, I think they do on the larger ideas of how we need to invest in the economy, invest in the people, the working class Americans, and the opportunities that they need to succeed. And I think that the President Obama has actually a little bit closer than Clinton than the clip showed, right? I mean, I think his work on health care, I think his work on the Jobs Act actually have been addressing some of the major issues in the economy. I think that
closer. Bill Clinton says he should be talking more about the budget. Senate Democrats have not passed one in more than 3 years. Bill Clinton says that they should have listened to Simpson Bowles and did the deficit reductions. The president should be talking more about the deficit. That's a major thing. But Bill Clinton says he should be talking about Medicare cuts. Bill Clinton says he disagrees with the president on the Pentagon cuts. I mean, how many more do I have to get through before it sounds like a Republican up against a Democrat, Daniel?
Well, I think a lot of this has to do with tactics. And Clinton is the master tactician. He won re-election in 1996, and this is nothing new. He came out with a book last November about how we should get the economy back on track, and a lot of the stuff was stuff that Obama had proposed. But I think a lot of what Clinton is saying has to do with style. Is he going to be a candidate like FDR was in 1936 and kind of embrace and own what he did, sort of punch the bankers in the nose, be much more aggressive? Or is he going to be a little more passive in the way he's outsourced a lot of the legislation to Congress and kind of been more behind the scenes on these deficit talks that didn't work out? So I think it has more to do
behind the scenes
with
or has
style,
done nothing.
with style or tactics than goals.
Ed, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Clinton can't help but speak the truth. He feels a responsibility to America. We have taxes are running at 15% of GDP, spending's running at 25% of GDP. Obviously, getting the budget in balance is one of the critical issues facing the country. Bill Clinton recognized that. He recognizes
that. Does it also show that Bill Clinton was more of a reach across the aisle kind of president and more of a centrist? And what does it say about what kind of president Hillary Clinton would have been?
Well, I think Hillary Clinton would have been a wonderful president. I think
more centrist than President Obama.
I actually think she would have been more progressive. I think that Obama is quite centrist. I think he's staked his whole first term on compromise, in stark contrast to what the right has done, which has essentially been trying to punish the president and to protect their interests. I think that Secretary of State Clinton would have actually governed a little bit more from the left, because I think she would have that's the position that she would have.
Well, then she would have had a lot of disagreements at home, because President Bill Clinton doesn't seem to be agreeing with any of that. Panel, thanks so much. Have a good rest of the week.
Thank
you.
A stunning development, a university dumping its entire health